It was 11 p.m. in the small village. The chirping of crickets deepened the silence. Arian stood at the window of his old ancestral home, looking out. A huge peepal tree stood in front, its branches shaking like bones in the wind. "Uncle, why do you still water this old tree? And that too at midnight." "Son, there is a thirst that is quenched not by well water but by a combination of faith and fear. Don't go under that tree. He lives there." "That's Kitty you're talking about." "Uncle, this is the 21st century. Ghosts and spirits only appear in stories. Kitty is no ordinary ghost. Arian, he is an unsatisfied soul. He had Kitty, but his desire to marry remained unfulfilled. He is still searching for a bride." The next night, Arian's friends challenged him. Everyone forbade him. But Arian wanted to prove his bravery. He rushed towards the peepal tree, flashlight in hand. "Arian, don't go. The elders say that if Kitty sees you, he'll sit on your shoulder and never come down. Let's see what harm your Kitty can do to me." As Arian approached the tree, the air suddenly cooled. The scent changed. It smelled like rotten flowers and old ashes. Suddenly, a strange laughter was heard from the top of the tree. "You've come! You've come!" Arian froze. The light of his flashlight fell on a thick branch of the peepal tree. A boy was sitting there. Kitty jumped down from the tree. "Will you introduce me to your sister? I want a bride. I want to take the vows." "So, are you really you?" "I really am. I am the hunger that never dies. I am the spell that remains unfinished." Kitty's voice suddenly became hoarse. Arian turned back and ran for his life, toward home. He felt as if some invisible force was clutching his throat. Arian entered the house and slammed the door shut. "What happened, Arian? Why did your face turn pale?" "He asked me about Sai." Just then, loud sounds of running echoed from the rooftop. It sounded as if a small child was banging the roof with a stone. Sai screamed. "Arian, save me! Someone is pulling me." In the darkness, Kitty's figure stood near Sai. He held Sai's hand and tried to lead her towards the peepal tree. There was a demonic glow on his face. "Today I will get married. Today Kitty will become king." Kaka Sahib immediately took out enchanted ashes from an old box and, reciting a mantra, threw them at Kitty. "Oh my Kitty, save me! Oh Amreem ha!" Kitty knew where but as soon as the ashes hit him, Kitty screamed loudly. His voice held the pain of thousands of years. He vanished like smoke, but as he left, he looked into Arian's eyes and said, "I will return. No man in this house will sleep peacefully until my thirst is quenched." Kitty's terror hadn't ended. Kaka Sahib's ashes had temporarily repelled him. But his dark shadow had now mingled with Arian's blood. The next day, Arian developed a high fever. But it wasn't an ordinary fever. His body temperature was as cold as ice, yet he felt as if a fire was burning within him. Kaka Sahib, Arian Bhai, wasn't speaking. He was just staring at the ceiling and talking to himself. Rani removed Arian's blanket and was stunned. The letters Ma appeared in red on Arian's chest, as if someone had branded him with a hot iron. He was hungry. He didn't want rice, he wanted life. In times of destruction, the mind works in the opposite direction. Kitty has made Arian his vehicle. If this isn't resolved by sunset today, Kitty will completely take over Arian's body. Ronnie summoned Johann from the neighboring village, an expert in binding unsatisfied spirits. As soon as Johann arrived, he circled the house. Sprinkled yellow mustard seeds. This kitty is very old. Its roots are not deep in that peepal tree, but are connected to some ancient sin of this family. Uncle, tell me the truth, who is this kitty? He was my great-grandfather's younger brother. At the age of 12, after the sacred thread ceremony, he jumped into the well, insisting on marriage. Since then, he has been an enemy of the happiness of this house. Johann decided that Kitty must be summoned to that same peepal tree and brought to justice. At midnight, Arion was tied in chains and taken under that tree. Arion's body began to stiffen. His eyes went completely white. Arion, awaken your willpower. If you give up, he will never go. Just then, a black shadow emerged from behind the tree. It looked exactly like Arion, but its face was half-burnt and terrifying. Kitty had now emerged from Arion's body and appeared in his true, terrifying form. He attacked Johann. Johann threw the Ganga water he had in his hand. This fire can't burn me. I've spent centuries in penance seeking revenge. He now began moving towards Sai, who stood trembling at a distance. Arion Bai, save me. Hearing Sai's voice, Arion's inner consciousness awakened. He broke his chains with all his might and picked up Johann's fallen, enchanted kodak. Kitty, you were related to this family. But you turned it into hell. Today I will end you. Arion soaked the sword in his blood and buried it directly at the root of the peepal tree. Kitty's body began to turn into smoke. You can kill me, but my thirst will return. The smoke engulfed the peepal tree. The tree suddenly split in the middle, spewing black ash. The first rays of dawn appeared. Arion lay motionless on the ground. Johann and Ronnie breathed a sigh of relief. The peepal tree was now dry, as if its soul had departed. Uncle, did he believe the truth? The tree has withered, son, but Kitty lives on in memories and fear. Until someone provokes him again, he will remain imprisoned. Arion slowly got up. He looked at his hand. The black mark had disappeared. Kitty was no longer dead. He had simply changed his location. Kitty's smile was enough to send shivers down Arion's spine. The story had reached a point where the barrier between fear and reality had completely broken down. The peepal tree had withered, but the atmosphere inside the house had become even heavier. Arion was no longer the same. He would stand in front of the mirror for hours, talking to himself. Oh, Arion, who are you saying yes to when you look in the mirror? There's no one there. He's asking me, right, if I got an invitation to his wedding? He's saying the real game will begin now. Sai noticed that Arion's reflection in the mirror wasn't moving. Arion, the mirror man, stood still, staring at Sai, his lips fixed on the same devilish smile. Ronnie realized that Kitty had moved his camp from the tree to the old dungeon in the house, the dungeon that had been locked for the past 100 years. That night, the temple bells in the house began to ring on their own. Johann, who had stayed in the village, came running. Disaster had struck. Kitty had defiled the family deity's shrine. He was now destroying the family's protectors. Suddenly, the heavy wooden door of the dungeon opened of its own accord. A resounding voice came from inside. Arion, my brother, come in. Your bridal dress is kept here. Here we will become one. Arion, as if under a hypnotic spell, slowly began to move toward the dungeon. Kitty now appeared in his true form, the Brahma Rakshasa. Kitty grabbed Aryan's neck. Sai noticed that an old copper pot containing sacred Nirmada water had fallen from Johan's bag. She gathered courage and ran towards the room, but Sai, without hesitation, threw the pot directly at Kitty's face. Kitty's face was filled with joy as soon as the sacred water touched it. His face began to burn. He stepped back, leaving Aryan. "Aryan, this is your chance. Set fire to that old trunk in the middle of the room. Kitty's ashes, buried there years ago, are hidden there." Aryan picked up a nearby torch and threw it with all his might at the trunk. As the trunk caught fire, a scream that wasn't human echoed throughout the house. Kitty's body was engulfed in flames. Finally, he sobbed like a small child and slowly turned to ashes. Everything fell silent. The dungeon was now just an old, dusty room. Aryan collapsed to the floor. He was alive, but completely broken. Kitty had left the house, but the fear of him lingered in their minds and hearts.